Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. What do I mean by stop treating the symptoms and get to the cause? And what if I were to tell you, I don't even know what the cause is? Okay. I'm going to give you 3 examples from my clients this past week to inspire you to create an impact in your life, but to also show you how powerful hypnosis can be in your own unique situation. Okay. So the first client was coming back to me for a second session for weight reduction. By the way, this is the reason why I love what I call the All Access Pass. The All Access Pass gives you so many sessions within a certain amount of time, and you can use them to work on any goal that you want to. But each session, you will leave with a plan of action. And when you come in the next time, we're going to talk about what's working well and then how to make it even better. So this client on weight reduction, the very first session was on how she was nourishing herself. Food, drink, because I already know from the conversation I was having with her, she was consuming too much and she was consuming the wrong things. So she comes back in, sits down and goes, I think it was an absolute failure, but I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, you got to give me more. And she said, yeah, I didn't change what I was eating and drinking, but I could hear your voice in my head. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. I could hear your voice in my head going, are you really going to allow her to be talked to like that? Okay. So Milton Erickson was one of the most phenomenal hypnotists ever, and he did an autobiography called The Sound of My Voice Will Go With You. And when I first came across it, I'm like, what an arrogant son of a bitch. No, I was stupid because clients, when they experience hypnosis, they have what I call their wise woman or wise man, their inner advisor, but it won't take on their own voice. It'll take on the voice and the attributes of somebody that they respect as an authority figure when that authority figure is doing transfer of authority and transfer of power. And that's what I do with my clients. I'm like, hey, whatever you went through at some point in your life took your power away. I am giving it back to you. And I do that in the hypnosis session. Well, that means that aspect of the personality will take on that authority figure's voice so that the client can differentiate from the itty bitty shitty committee or the ivory tower tear it all down committee, because you got 2 different ones. Okay. So she's like, I heard your voice in my head going, are you really going to allow her to be talked to like that? Whenever you experience habits and patterns that you repeat that are causing chaos, confusion, drama, crisis in your life, it can be for one of 3 reasons. The first one is that you're self-sabotaging, not on purpose, not because you're wanting to hurt yourself. You're self-sabotaging because an aspect of you is getting triggered. A younger you, a part of your personality that felt overwhelmed at some point in time, and then they decided to cope with life the best way they knew how from the level of maturity that they had at that point in time. Now, psychology tells us that 80% of who we are as an adult was learned by age 8. Oh, screw us over sometimes, that means that it's probably a much younger you that keeps getting triggered and acting out in a way that will sabotage your current success, but will also soothe your system in the moment because it is a younger, immature part of you. Now, that's one way that we can get screwed over. The other way is that we have to dim down our brilliance. We have to hold ourselves back so somebody in our environment doesn't feel bad about themselves. We have to make ourselves fit in. And so that's what's known as the shadow self. And the idea is to bring out the parts of your brilliance in a way where we're going to mitigate your risk as much as possible, because not everybody's going to like when you start turning on your light and achieving success. Okay. So with this client, we had determined in her first session that she was soothing herself through self-sabotage by using food because of a younger her that was wounded, something terrible, that was traumatized, and she used food when she was a child to make herself feel okay. So that's what we learned in the first time. So in the hypnosis session, I bring it out. I don't know what's going to come out. I just ask for the powerful mind to reveal what it is we need to know about this. And so after the session, I shared with her that every time she engaged in unhealthy food and drink, she was actually overwhelming and drowning that younger her. That the younger her was reaching for it, but now it had gotten to a point that it was suffocating her. And that instead of using food and drink as a way to communicate with the younger her, that she would want to start talking to her in a way that was loving and caring. Well, that's not what happened in the week in between sessions. What happened is that she came into an awareness that her significant other, who is, I'm not going to say an abuser, but definitely a manipulator, was actually triggering her on purpose to consume too much food and drink. Now, why would anybody do that? Because they want to see you sick so they can save you? That's the awareness she had in the last week. Whenever he would say things to her and then she would go to reach for food, it wasn't, how are you going to use that food? How are you going to use that drink to drown that younger you? It was, are you going to let him do that to the younger you? Oh, now see, I never know what's going to happen. I can pretty much guarantee this. What you came in for is not what you're going to leave with, because I'll give suggestions around a certain area that you're wanting to achieve success, but your powerful mind will customize those suggestions to you and your unique circumstance. Oh, how incredibly beautiful is our powerful mind to do that. So that's when I started talking to her after she shared, oh my gosh, this is the aha that I've had in the last week. I'm like, okay, so it keeps everything in alignment. It makes complete sense because the body expresses what the mind and the emotion represses. I said, so somebody wants you to dim and dumb down mentally and emotionally, and the body's fighting against you and going, you're going to try to make me play small there. I'm going to get big physically to try to hold my space. Her body isn't trying to hurt her. Her body is trying to give her the message the only way that it knows how to communicate, that says, there's something wrong here in the other areas, or we would not have to expand and grow this way. We are starving in these other areas. Okay, so that was one client where, hey, she came in for what she thought was weight reduction. And yeah, it's going to be weight reduction, but that is just a symptom of being in a situation where she is being manipulated in a way that is causing her harm. And then as we get her healthy and we draw those boundaries, then she can continue to allow herself to get strong as a boundary instead of using the weight. And again, All Access Pass allows you to do that. All Access Pass, the way it works is it's 4 sessions designed to be used within 4 weeks, virtually or in person, if you happen to be in the St. Louis, Missouri area. And then after those 4 sessions, you get to determine, are you complete? Or do you maybe want to come back and you still want to do another 4? Or maybe you want to do 2 at a time, 2 in 30 days. I will tell you right now, All Access Pass is on special. It is typically $697. You are going to be able to get it for $597, but that is only if you book your All Access Pass by November 21st, Monday, November 21st. That is the last day you're going to have the savings on it. So you want to reach out to me, 1-636-699-7791. Tell me that you're interested. We can either have a chat about it to make sure it's a good fit for you, or I can just send you the link to where you can go ahead and register. And then after you do, you'll be taken to another page to go ahead and set your appointments. Okay, so that was our first client where it was, we're getting to the cause, not treating just the symptoms. Second client has been dealing with the depression for over 5 years that no drug, no doctor, no therapist can seem to take care of. Okay, I'm not brilliant, guys. It's not me. It's me creating this sacred space for you to discover who you really are and turn your pain into progress. Give it a purpose. Take that wound, turn it into your wealth. So she comes in. It's her 3rd session. She's feeling absolutely phenomenal. I know that we're going to have a slip at some point, so I'm preparing her for that because her powerful mind is going to test her to go, are you really going to use the tools that we've got going on? But she came in not depressed. She came in pissed. And I'm like, woohoo about MFing time. Why is that? Because you're going to go through 4 levels. You're going to go through a loss. Now, after that, for women, we're typically taught be sad, grieve. And that's okay for you to go, wow, my expectations just got totally blown out of the water. But then after that, you have another level you're supposed to go through. Anger. You know what? No one teaches us how to be angry in a healthy way. Anger points out that boundaries have been violated. And so when there's anger and it's healthy, then we can say, okay, what boundary got violated and how can we set a better boundary? Or maybe you've got a boundary around something that's no longer valuable. It's a leftover from what you were raised with. And maybe the reason why you're angry is we actually need a boundary around a different value. I mean, I don't know. So she comes back in and she's like, I am so aggravated. And I'm like, okay, well, we talked about last session being prepared for a slip. And so, why do you think you're angry? And we talked about it. And what was actually happening is she was realizing that she had a conflict in values with somebody that, and every conflict every single conflict between countries, between political parties, between people within yourself, every single conflict is a conflict in values. And she was discovering that there was somebody she was investing a lot of time with that maybe did not have the same values she did. Now, why is this important for her depression? Because I said there were 4 levels going down. There is loss, there is sadness, grief, there is anger, and then there's what's known as situational depression. Situational depression says, oh, we're missing something. There's a gap between where we are and where we want to go. Thank goodness for the gap, because it is pointing out where maybe we need a skill set. Maybe we need to optimize something. Maybe we need support. Maybe we need more experiences. So it's letting us know that there is something that is needed. But if you skip over anger, you're not going to be in situational depression. You're going to be a depression that you can't get out of because you don't know what you value. You don't know what boundaries you're supposed to have. You've skipped over that step. So then I can't take you to the other side, which are the 4 steps up, which is going to be competency. Competency comes from you discovering what you're missing and what you need to take action on. And then once you start doing that, then you go up to the next level where you begin to feel more confident in life. And when people come to me and they go, I don't have any self-confidence, I'm like, that's because you're missing a competency. I don't know what it's around. Let's find out. And then after you get confidence, well, you begin applying it to other areas of your life, because your very powerful mind, known as your subconscious, will not keep it in a box labeled just for one area. It goes, let's spread the love. And you make it apply to every area of your life, which, wow, now you are absolutely rocking it. And then you're going to pop up to what's known as euphoria. Those are sweet spots in time where your life, where you're like, can life get any better? No, it cannot. In fact, at some point, you're going to experience a loss because euphoria cannot be maintained, and you're going to go back down on the other side. It's a cycle. Oh my gosh. But she was stuck in it. Why was she stuck in it? Because she wasn't realizing the conflict that she was having on the values and the boundaries. Whew, okay. And then, so yeah, she thinks we're working on depression. No, we're actually working on the best parts of her. And then the very last client has been clean on a drug addiction now for over a year, and working with her to make sure that she keeps moving in that direction. But this past week has been really hard. And last week, I did a session for her as far as being able to expand herself, the success that she's seeing with her sobriety and how good it feels. Where else can she apply that to her life? What's unique and what's valuable about her? And her powerful mind turned around and said, yeah, there's a reason why we can't do that, because we don't have enough support. We have to actually get back to the people that are not the ones that we knew in the addiction, but that were there for us before it ever started. And we need to start making those connections. So she comes in feeling sad, but why is she sad? Remember, I told you about loss and then grief. Well, yeah, I'm like, okay, you tell me. If we did a session about you absolutely rocking it, and then you come back and go, and that's not what my powerful mind is trying to tell me. I said, what's it trying to tell you? And she goes, that I need support to be able to apply it to all areas of my life. Yes, that is magnificent. So, see, I can give you all the suggestions around the symptoms that you're experiencing. but you're going to take those suggestions and you're going to apply it to a way that is unique, that brings out your very best. Now, sometimes it's going to bring it out by going, look at this pain, this loss that needs to be addressed so we can fill in what we're missing, that gap, that competency that we need to develop. And there is no diet. There is no exercise program. There is no drug. And there is no support group that is going to make up for you discovering what's brilliant about you. That's what's going to make you a badass in life. The best parts of you. But you're having a challenge right now. You're self-sabotaging because that younger you is soothing yourself, and you hid away the parts of you that were absolutely brilliant in the shadows so you could fit in with what someone else needed you to be. It's time to bring it back out. And hey, save $100 while you're doing it. So reach out to me. 1-636-699-7791. And you can save on the All Access Pass, because it's time for you to reveal who you really are, not who you've been programmed and conditioned to accept and settle for. Until we get together again, blessings on your journey.